हेलो दोस्तों, हाउ आर यू? I hope that you all are good and doing well. In this video, we'll discuss about the rare earth minerals and its global relevance in today's scenario. So let's start the video. Myself Virendra Kumar, and if you start thinking about the rare earth minerals and why it is important for today's modern eras, so you will start thinking from the point that why it is rare. So rare earth minerals name itself is a misnomer. Rare doesn't mean that mineral associated with this category are rare. Actually, they are not rare. They are not accumulated at or concentrated at particular places. They are spread. They are dispersed in the rocks, crust of the earth. That's why the name rare earth minerals or rare earth metals. So President Donald Trump is much concerned about the rare earth minerals, and for this he has warned China. Why China? China, has restricted the export of rare earth minerals and the technology and instrument related to mining, processing, production of rare earth minerals. So firstly we'll learn about the rare earth minerals or metals. So it contains a group of 17 elements including scandium and yttrium. There are lanthanide series elements. So you must have known that there are separate series, lanthanide and actinide series, in the modern periodic table. If you are aware of the periodic tables of the elements, right? So the total rare earth minerals are 17, including the scandium and yttrium. Further, rare earth minerals are classified into two categories: light rare earth minerals and heavy rare earth minerals. So scandium and yttrium doesn't belong to any of the two, light and heavy rare earth minerals, but the chemical properties of the scandium and yttrium matches with the rare earth minerals. That's why it is included in the rare earth minerals category. So why they are important? Because of their unique chemical and physical properties, they are indispensable for many modern technology, especially smartphone technology, turbine wind technology, and manufacturing of strong magnets. That's why, and also the technology used in the defense industries. So that's why US is much of concern of these rare earth minerals, and for that China has imposed the restrictions of export related to these rare earth minerals and the associated technologies. So because of this, because US is depending on the China's export of these minerals, and it creates imbalance in the US defense and technological sectors. That's why President Donald Trump has threaten the China if you are not considering the fair deal by November 1st, then the President Donald Trump will impose a very heavy trade tariff, and presently it is 55%, and it will be added by 100 more, that will become the net 155%. And because of this heavy tariffs, this creates an imbalance in the relationship between US and China. China should consider, otherwise there is a there is a threat of US has also threatened the India. If India doesn't stop the importing of the Russian oil, US will impose the heavy tariffs. So this is a kind of strategies to make you think, reconsider if you are doing different. So firstly we'll consider the applications of the rare earth minerals, like electronic sectors. It is used in electrical and electronic components and for powerful miniaturized magnets. So the technology is shrinking by the day, and this is the time of nanotechnology and AI, artificial intelligence, and for that we need the small miniature size components of the electronics, right? So for that the efficient minerals is the rare earth minerals, and it is used to create lasers for applications like cosmetic, medicine and industrial process. So rare earth minerals has a wide spread applications, that's why it is much needed worldwide. And for the MRI purposes, for scanning the body parts, the gadolinium mineral is utilized, and this is the rare earth mineral, so that's why it becomes the important. And for the energy purpose, essential for high performance magnets in wind turbines, as I said, it is required, right? In aerospace technologies, it is also used to make alloys for lightweight, high strength applications in the aircraft and aerospace. So these are the applications of the rare earth minerals, and these rare earth minerals are sought after not only by the US and China, but by the India also. So in our India, Geological Survey of India is striving, and not striving only, has started the exploration for the rare earth minerals, so that India much before the time become the independent in the case of the rare earth minerals, and we should not be in a troubled state, so that we are trying for the mineral rare earth mineral exploration already started in our country. So what are the China's policy regarding the rare earth minerals? Let's discuss. So announced in October 2025, the restrictions intensify the controls that were first implemented in April of the same year 2025. The regulations include expansion of restricted element. So actually China what has done, that it has restricted the list of the restricted items. In that, China has added 5 new rare earth elements to its control list, which now covers 12 of the 17 rare earths. So earlier it was 7, now more 5 has been added. That's why now it becomes the 12 of the 17. Out of the 17 rare earth elements, it is now 12. So this has raised the concern for the US, because US wants that it must be having the good input of these rare earth minerals, metals, elements, so that their requirements could be fulfilled. You know that already Mr. Trump has started the imposing of the tariffs if something is like the film industry, if something is made out of the US, that would not be considered without tariffs. So it similar way China has copied the policy of the US export control. It requires special license for the products made outside of China if they contain at least 0.1% of the Chinese origin rare earths. So what does it mean? That if only the at least 0.1% of the rare earth elements are included in the export, that export must be approved before being exported to the US. Right, and not only the rare earth elements, it also includes the technology and instrument, equipment, specialized equipment needed for the mining, separation and processing of the rare earth elements, and also including the magnet manufacturing techniques. So dual use military restrictions. Exports are now outright denied for any foreign military user or defense contractor. Products containing rare earth intended for military or sensitive dual use applications will not be approved for the export licenses. So China directly has denied the export of the any kind of thing that is related to rare earth elements. So exports for advanced semiconductors and artificial intelligence with potential military applications will be approved on a case by case basis. So if there is a export of thing that is related to the semiconductor and artificial intelligence, and that come within the potential military application, they will be approved one by one, right? So what is the reason that US has raised a concern? China cites national security as the justification of these measures, claiming that the certain foreign organizations have used Chinese rare earths for military applications. So the primary effects on the US are: it reinforced leverage in trade disputes. So that's why US has raised its voice in terms of threat, that analysts view the restriction as a strategic move to gain the leverage in trade negotiations with the US. Right. So particularly ahead of planned meetings between President Trump and Xi Jinping in Beijing, right? So supply chain vulnerability. So as the world's leading producer and refiner of rare earths, China is the one of the most leading country related to the rare earth elements, and it is the leading producer and it dominates the industries. And because of these restrictions, there creates a imbalance in the chain supply. So the new restriction further expose US and global supply chains to potential disruptions and delays. So because of this, trade supply of rare earth elements to the US and other country will be disrupted. So the military and technology risk. US defense industry is highly dependent on rare earths for advanced weapon systems, including fighter jets and missiles. Restricting access to these materials poses a significant national security risk. So if the US is totally depending on the China's export of the rare earth elements, then it may create the security risk to the US, and because of that US is now trying to start production of the rare earth in its own country, right? So and that's why US has started the investment in the MP industries. US is investing heavily in a domestic rare earth production. So in July itself 2025, the Department of Defense invested in MP Materials, the largest US rare earth miner, to fund a new magnet manufacturing plant. So you know, China is leading, but US, if China is not going to export the required rare earth elements to the US and other countries, so US is thinking about the other options. So already it is investing its own domestic industry. The US has sought alliance with the other countries like Australia. It has made a deal with Australia in October 2025 and signed a major deal to invest billions in critical minerals projects. And also it is thinking that to stockpiling of these rare earth elements to safeguard against supply disruptions. So US already have started its strategy to counterbalance the China's restriction to the export of rare earth elements, and not only this country or India is also becoming much independent regarding the rare earth elements. So friends, this is the story that I wanted to share with you. So I hope that you like this video, and if any doubts regarding the rare earth elements, you can ask in the comment. I will be happy to give you the response. So thank you so much for watching.